Mini has just launched 3 exciting new models here at the Malaysia Auto Show. You've got the U25 third generation Countryman in both EV and full petrol forms, as well as the new F66 Mini Cooper S. Let's take a look. Let's start with the new Countryman. First, the third generation is now significantly larger than before. It's wider, quite a bit longer, and significantly taller than the Countryman that we know from before. Even in styling, is a lot blockier than before to make it look more like an SUV. At the back here, you'll see the biggest difference. It is now much more squared off compared to the more rounded second generation. I especially like the light details where you can choose between 3 different patterns for the taillights as well as the headlights. I especially like the flat 19-inch wheels on the electric SE, even more so than the checkered flag pattern on the JCW. Inside, it really is all new. You no longer get a front speedometer for the driver. Instead, everything has been moved to the center screen over here. This has not been inspired by Tesla, but by the original classic Mini. The good news is you still have a HUD right in front of the driver, so you can still, look forward as you drive instead of having to look to the center screen. The screen itself is now using OLED technology, so it is extremely thin and it looks fabulous even under bright sunlight. Other than that, the full dashboard is now covered in this really fancy fabric, and this extends to the door cards as well. Between the electric SE and the JCW, you can see that the trim colors are all different. I think the one in the SE over here looks far more interesting. There's a lot of interesting details inside as well. There is a storage box down the center, although the act of opening and closing them feels a little bit cheap. And then you've got this tiny off and on switch, which is styled to look like an old school key, which is nice. And then the drive selector is this little stub over here. The steering wheel may look like a traditional 3-spoke rim, but the third spoke down here is actually just a fabric strap. That's pretty cool. The bigger body also allows a much more spacious interior, and you can now recline the rear seats like so, but you don't get any sunroof here in Malaysia. As for performance, the full electric Countryman SE has dual motors with 313 PS, 494 Nm of torque, and it can get from 0 to 100 in just 5.6 seconds. Full range is said to be 432 km over full charge in WLTP test cycle. The full petrol Countryman JCW or John Cooper Works, on the other hand, uses a regular 2-litre twin-power turbo engine from BMW. Here it makes 300 PS and 400 Nm of torque, and all that is spread across all 4 wheels for a 0 to 100 time of just 5.4 seconds. This also goes all the way up to 250 km per hour, whereas the EV is limited to just 180. The transmission is a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox. As for styling, the JCW also gets a more aggressive, deeper front bumper with all these checkered flag motif. The wheels on the JCW is also slightly bigger, 20s instead of 19s on the SE, and at the back you've got 4 exhaust pipes. Both the Countrymans are now fully imported from Germany, and this JCW version is priced just under 400,000 ringgit here in Malaysia. The EV version, however, being almost tax-free in Malaysia, is far cheaper at just 260,000 ringgit. That is a massive difference between the two. Next is the new Mini Cooper S, except this isn't really all that new. This is the F66, which is essentially just a heavily facelifted version of the previous F56. But stylistically, it's made to look like the full electric J01 version. That is a proper all-new version. This is one that's made to look new. So while the full electric J01 version is now made in China, this F66 is still made in the UK. The easiest way to tell between the two is that the petrol version still has the big fat plastic arches around the wheels and this clamshell bonnet, whereas the full electric version loses out on these two iconic features from the Mini. At the back is the same story as well. Under the shell is the same old platform, but on the outside is made to look like the all-new version. The taillights especially are now smaller with a more triangular shape, and I think it looks great. I think it looks quite convincing as an all-new car despite the old bones. Inside though, the F66 really is all new. It gets the full fabric dashboard, full OLED screen as well. It makes it look properly all new, and I think this is a massive improvement over the outgoing car. What hasn't changed all that much is the engine under the hood. It is still a 2-litre turbo petrol from BMW, and here it makes 204 PS and a full 300 Newton meters of torque. It goes from 0 to 100 in just 6.6 seconds, so it's still a proper mini Cooper S in terms of performance. The price though remains steep for such a tiny car. It is 280,000 ringgit here in Malaysia. So guys, between these three new mini models, which one is your favorite? Do let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching everyone, and stay safe.